Hello, class. The people in class. I'll tell you.
Howdy.
How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Okay. All right. How's my assignment?
It was all right.
Okay. I'm gonna show you about the first assignment. Some people you did it, but the commands. Let me go to my share screen. Then I need to open up Cal. All right. Let's go ahead. Right here. Go back. All right. Okay. Hopefully I got enough people on. And we're gonna look at some of that in the notes too. All right. So say I go to this terminal. What does it say? I must start. I need to start it. All right. Did it start? There you go. All right. Let's say. All right. So what I have when I told y'all to do the long listing, that was the ls minus L, but I told you to do a listing of only, I think it was the program the files that you created. So I don't have one in here, but you could have done the ls minus L and then asterisk file. Because remember, FILE was the last name, last four characters of the file. So that would have just have given you just those. And so you can even do it with an extension. I could say, okay, locate, list all of the CPP files. So I want a long listing. I don't care what the name is, but all the .cpp files. So when I hit enter, see, all I get is .cpp, 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 .cpp. So that's what I was looking for when I was asking for the listing. I think the first time when I say list the files that only the files that you are created. But some of y'all, it showed your files also and also showed your terminal. So that's why, I took points off. All right. And then some people was not showing me the actual command. So I'm like, okay, what are you doing? What's going on? So I had to just grade it based on the fact that you didn't screenshot all of your screen to give me the information. Because that's why I told you to screenshot the desktop. Because whatever they have prior to that command or prior to the results, I could see what the actual command was. Okay. And like I say, the rest, make a directory, change a directory, and then do the listing, etc. All right. So today's class is going to be we're going to be focusing on this area here. And then at the end of the class, we're going to have an in-class assignment. And then and we'll go over it to kind of understand it. But I'm going to give you an assignment to do. And that assignment is going to have something that we're going to talk about in class that you're going to have to catch in order to be able to do, to complete your assignment. Okay? So, anybody have any questions so far? Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Sylvester.
Yeah.
I had a quick question just because my internet dropped off, so I missed the part about the listing command that we were supposed to use.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My internet dropped.
Okay. All right. What I was saying was, remember I had you create a file or some files called O1, what it was, file or underscore O1 file, something like that. So I could do is say CP, I'm gonna just copy. C key or cpnm.cpp to underscore O1 file, all right? And then no, not I did C. That's what I should have did. I did a K in front of it. Okay. All right. Then you created some others, and I'll just use the same file. We didn't do it that way, but I'm gonna do the same way. So I have these 3 files here. So I told you to only list the 3 files. Well, not the 3. The 7 files that you created. All right. So if I just do a ls minus l, it's gonna give me the whole list. All right. But if I do the ls minus l, well, minus l, and I do asterisk file, all right? See, it only gave me what? With this command, it only gave me just those 3 that I created. So that's somewhat what I was looking for. And in the first slide of this lecture, which I think we went over it, but I just added it in there, it's going to show you somewhat how that works. Because I don't know if you used DOS before or Windows, or say DOS. Like say if I do a dir is somewhat like a ls. But let's see if I need to do CD documents. No document. All right. So I'm gonna get in the documents. Do it have files? Do it have files? So see, I have these PDF files here. All right. But when I did a directory, it just gave me everything. But in DOS, I could do a dir asterisk dot PDF. All right. So it gives me all of just the PDF files that's in that folder. So that's what I was looking for from that the command that I wanted you to use. Some people didn't use the long listing command with the minus L, you know, and that I took points off for that too. You know, you just did the ls, you know. So I was looking for the long listing. All right. So that's just showing you the comparison with Windows and Linux command. All right. So let's look at the, and I tried to open up the, log in with my computer that have the virtual box. Everybody was able to create the virtual box.
Yes, sir.
Yep, got it.
Because now the reason being, the assignment that I'm gonna give you, you're gonna have to do it in CoCal, okay? Then you're gonna, and like I said, screenshot the results. And I want the command and everything, because like I said, I don't want you to just give me the answer. I want to see the command that you type to get it, you know. Then you're gonna create it or accomplish it, screenshot your desktop and submit it. Then whatever you've just done in the CoCal, then I want you to do it on the virtual box that you created. So that's kind of like a two-way thing. I'm gonna grade the virtual box that you installed it, but then now, if you did install it, you can do the second. You could do the assignment that I give you. If you didn't, then what? And you turned in the assignment, then I'm like, okay, well, how you turned in the assignment, and now you're telling me you can't do you don't have virtual box, but you did the assignment. So that's kind of like what I do, you know, just to kind of make sure, you know, you're doing what I asked you to do. All right. So any other questions? Anybody have questions? All right, I have all these tabs up here. So let me just choose one of these tabs and go back out. I'll create another one. I'll just open a new one. I'll just go here. All right, so we're here. All right, so this is the PowerPoint. So for today's lecture, and like I said, I want you to pay attention. So look here, the wildcards. Okay, so the asterisk is considered the wildcard. When I do whatever dot asterisk or asterisk whatever, it takes whatever on and says, okay, I don't care what it is. is, but I'm concerned with every file, like say this ls list asterisk. That means to do a listing of all files beginning with list, no matter what characters are at the end, no matter what the extensions are, no matter what. Okay. So again, if I go back to here, it's the same thing here. Like I got everything beginning with the letter N. I could say ls minus l n asterisk. All right. I think I do the asterisk. I think this won't give me one with extent with it yes it did. All right. So I was thinking it wouldn't give me the one with the extensions, but it did. Don't matter what. All right. So ls minus l, which is a long listing showing the rights, the user, the owner, the date and time, and then the name of the file. All of the files that begin with the letter N, all right? And that's what it did, all right? But I can actually modify that. Okay, I could say, okay, N asterisk dot CPP. All of a sudden now, well, I'll say, yeah, CPP. So what happened here? Now we'll reduce it to what? Just name dot CPP and nm dot CPP, because I said I want the CPP files beginning with the letter N, no matter what comes after it, dot CPP, all right, with that extension. So when I hit enter, I should have just what? Those two files. So see how you can actually look through or filter through your folder to kind of pinpoint to see just what you want, because you could have 100, 1,000 of files in a folder, and you trying to eyeball through them to figure out what file is what's the name of it. And like I said, you could filter it out using the ls minus l and maybe the wildcard, but also using the question mark. So it tells us the character asterisk is called a wildcard, okay, and will match against none or more characters in a file or a directory name. Okay, for example, and it says typing in your current directory, ls list asterisk will list everything. This will list all files in the current folder directory, starting with list, and no matter what's at the end. Now, you can somewhat modify that where you can look in a folder without getting into the folder. Let's see. Let's look at that right quick. So if I do something like ls minus l, and I say my, do I have my files on here? I don't have a directory on here. Let me make a directory. Okay, mkdir, and I'll say files. All right. Cannot create file. Cannot create directory files. Okay, it already exists. Let's see where it is. Oh, I'm not looking for the. All right, so I have files. So what I can do here, I could do ls files, and it'll look at it and see files, and look, it'll say, okay, files is a folder, and look, this is what's in that folder. So I can look at the content of a folder without having to get into that folder, without having to do what? CD, files, now I'm in the folder, and do a ls minus l, and now it showed me the file, all right? So I can just do it from the top. I could do ls files asterisk dot cpp, and which should return nothing, or should. Oh, I do have. No, let's see. Files asterisk dot cpp. Nope, that should have looked in files, or it gave files, and it gave header.h, but it shouldn't have given me this. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look at that. But what it did was it defaulted to the current folder, which you don't want. You looking in files, and files should have gave you the results of this, which should have been no results. All right, because when I did ls files, it only gave me this. So when I did and I may have done it wrong. let's see, ls asterisk dot, come on here, ls asterisk dot cpp files. No, it's still giving me the same thing. And which I'm gonna have to read up on that one because it shouldn't have given me this because I'm looking in this particular folder. All right. So even if I do pwd user, so if I say ls minus l slash home minus l slash home slash user slash files, and then I'll do asterisk.cpp. See, it's still giving me, even though I did the whole folder listing, which is going to files. But it did show this, and it just say total one file, but it shouldn't even give me this file because it's not a .cpp. So I'm gonna have to look up on that one, unless the system is the newer systems have changed. All right. So, but you can look at a folder without having to CD into that folder and having to CD back up to that level of the main folder or the folder you was in prior to. All right. So the ls asterisk list will list all the files, no matter what the beginning is, and with list at the end. All right. Now, this will list all files in the current directory ending with list, no matter what's at the beginning. All right. Then you got the question mark. Now, what this does, this deals with a position, all right? That one position. So what happens is the character question mark will match exactly one character. So when it shows here an example, question mark OUSE, it will match files like house, mouse, grouse, grouse. Well, not grouse because what? You got 1, 2, then OUSE. So you see what I'm saying? It's going to only match as many question marks as you have. So if we go back to our CoCal and I do the ls, this thing. All right, minus L. And we look at let's see, ls, get our CPP files. So we have, no, this name, I could change that though. I got an NM and I'll say CP nm.cpp to bm.cpp. All right, so now if I do a ls minus l n asterisk dot cpp, it's gonna list everything with the letter N. All right. Well, wait. Where's with N, right? That's CPP. But if I do ls minus L question mark, then in this m.cpp, now it's gonna look for files with at least 2 characters, no matter what the beginning character is, but the second one has to be a m.cpp. So it should show the nm.cpp and the bm that we just created. So I hit enter. So look here, bm.cpp and the cm.cpp. All right. And there are some other options where you could change it. You could sort it in alphabetical or reverse order and all that. Those are some parameters you could set. All right. Okay. So now, and they're just telling us, type ls asterisk, question mark list will only give us stuff like with any letter here in a file that has list in it. All right. Now, anytime, and I should have given this to you at the very beginning, anytime you need help, all you need to type is man and the command. All right. So if we go back, even if we go back here, and we know the ls command, we could do man ls. And then it gives us a listing of the ls command what it actually does, and then give you some parameters. Now remember, we use a lot the what minus what's that? The minus L give you a long listing, but there's many other parameters you could use. You know, print the size, the recursive. Mean this minus R. What this does, and see, this what I think it is doing automatically. This actually goes into all of the directory levels and find the files. When you do a LSA minus L asterisk.cpp, but you do a minus L capital R, it'll look through every folder in that listing to find out all the CPP files. All right. So you have different options. And see, like I said, many different options you can use. And like I say, that's the help manual. So anytime you're on a Linux system or whatever, and you at the $ prompt, and you have a concern about a command, all you have to do is go to that. Let me get out of it. I'm gonna quit. Go to the $ prompt and type man in that command. Because remember we had man and what's another command? Say we do CD. Oh, what does it is that nope, it didn't give me anything on it. No manual entry for CD. All right, say we do man and we do PS. All right. So PS deals with the processes. So CI give you, different things you can use to see different processes. All right. So like I say, you can actually look through it. And like I say, depending on what you need, you can actually go ahead and try those commands to see exactly what parameters is used. So even when you're reading up on Linux and you see those commands, you're like, oh, okay, I remember that this parameter does this. Or let me go look in the manual and see what that parameter actually does. All right. All right. Now, okay. Then alternative is what is. All right. It gives a one-line description of the command, as like when we did the ls and it told us it does whatever. That's pretty much what the what is does, And again, if I go back to class, am I sharing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yep,
Okay.
you are.
All right. Okay. I didn't want to be talking and not sharing. All right. So if I do what is ls, you understand? It just gives that one line telling me what it does. It lists my directory contents. All right. So, and normally from what I'm looking at, if I do man ls, it's just taking that first line here and or whatever 1, 2, 3, and actually prompting what it actually is. All right. What that command is. So I think it's working in conjunction with the manual. But it's saying, okay, just print that third line, which would be what the command is, the name and what it does. Okay. Now, let's get into the file permission. Now, this is easy to understand, and but when you're working with Linux, and you pretty much a user, a super user, or whatnot, you're gonna find there are gonna be times when, say, like if you managing a Linux server or maybe or whatnot, or Linux, you're in a Linux environment, and you have many different people logging in and sharing. You creating a lot of shareable areas or whatnot. It's gonna become a time when you're gonna have to give users access to certain things, access to certain folders, access to whatever. All right. And dealing with files and folders, the command they use is chmod, which normally change mod. All right. This is what you'll be using. Now, you can control who can access files, all right, who can search directories, and who can run script during the Linux using the change mod command. Because even if you have control to change the permissions of a file in your own folder, then you will not have an access to do whatever. All right. And I'll get to that. I don't want to show it to you until we get to it. But what could happen is if you have a C++ file and you remove the write access, WIRT access from that CPP file, all right, and then you try to open it to edit it, to make changes, and then save it under that same name, you will get an error. It'll tell you this file has been opened as read only. You probably have to save it in a new name. So you can change access. All right. So this command modifies Linux file permissions, okay, which looks complicated at first, but are actually pretty simple once you know how it works. Because once you know how it works, you're like, okay, all right, I understand. I have this as user, I have this, and this permissions. If it tells me, oh, not enough permissions, oh, I know what to do. If I'm trying to execute, I need to add execute permission. If I open it and it says, oh, it's read only, I need to go back and add read permissions. Write permissions. So then if I try to access it and say you cannot access, oh, I need to have read permission. So you files within your folder, you have ownership and you can change those. But like I said, at the same time, when you over the system and you're managing it, different files, locations, folders and whatnot, even sharing a group management, you may have to change permission so that the group can communicate with one another. All right. So permission, the permission control the actions that can be performed on files or directories. Okay. They either permit or prevent a file from being read, modified, or if it's a script program, all right, which we go in this assignment, I created a little bash program, a little script program, simple script program. All you're doing is outputting 2 blank lines, then outputting your name, the course, my name, the due date, then 2 more blank lines. That's all you're doing. We're not doing any programming yet. And we'll touch up on the programming, and it won't be nothing hard. It'll just be something, to get you, to show you that, hey, I learned C++, but this is scripting on the level of Linux, and it's a little different, but similar. All right. So it won't be nothing hard, but like I said, I'll give it to you to do, and you'll see how it works. All right. So, whereas for a directory, the permission governs who can CD into the directory and who can create or modify files within that directory. Okay. So you use the change mod command to set each of these permissions to see what permission has been set. Okay. Once again, set on a file or directory, use the ls command. All right. So now, if you notice this, look at the command ls -l, right? Because if I'm gonna go back to the calco, if I'm gonna quit this, if I just use ls, see, I'm gonna clear. If I just use ls, it's just gonna give me a listing of the files. I don't know what the permissions are. Color coded, you might know if you were familiar with the Coquel, you might know that, oh, files is blue, it's a folder. The sh, oh, it's some type of shell or whatever. All right, or certain permissions. But when you do the ls -l, all of a sudden now you get to see here are the permissions. All right, here are the user and the owner. All right, or the group. The user, the group, all right, and then the date, the byte size, date created, time, and then this would be the actual file name. Now, if you notice here, I have all these here listings. You see one of them that is different though. Look at this one. What does it have that's different?
The number 2.
No, well, I went too far.
The
Just
DN.
that D. Now, that D represents what? That particular files here is a directory. Okay, so anytime you do a ls minus L and you see a D in that first column, that's a directory. Okay, give an example. If I say mkdir and I'll say class, if I could type, or what happened? All right, not that. All right, I'll say class and I hit enter. Now when I do ls minus L, even though nothing is in it, notice what happens. Now it created class, but what it is, it's a directory. You see what I'm saying? So anytime you create a directory, it will have the D in front of it. Okay, so that's how you can determine the what's a file and what's a folder or a directory. All right. So now let's go back. Then we have three groups of threes. 1, 2, 3 permissions for the user. 1, 2, 3 for the group, permissions for the group, and 1, 2, 3 permissions for other. That's anybody other than those two. So say we look at any one of them, but look at ch.cpp. The user can do what with that file? Looking at this, ch.cpp, the user can do what to that file?
Read and write.
Read and write, all right? So anybody in that group of user can do what?
Looks like nothing.
No, look.
Okay, the user, they can read and write.
Right, and then in the group, they can do what?
Nothing, right?
No, they can read. See here, R?
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Excuse me.
Right, and then others can what?
Read as well.
Read. So what that means is they can look at the file, they cannot write to it, or they cannot execute it. All right. So now, and what happens is you might say, well, Mrs. Sylvester, we create these files and then we generate the output. But if you notice, look at ch.cpp. You can't execute it, correct? Correct? As a user, you can't execute, right?
Right.
Now, what happens is a CPP file has to be compiled. Remember with the G++?
Yes, sir.
So it's not necessarily being executed. It's being retrieved, stored into the compiler, and then the compiler generates a what file? Look at this.
Output.
That a.out file that you type /a.out to get your output. Everybody understand it? Every time you do a G++ and the name of the file, it will overwrite a.out to give you the results for that particular compile file. Everybody, so because if I do a G++ ch.cpp and no errors, it'll generate an a.out for the results of ch.cpp. But then again, if I come back and do a G++ on name.cpp, then it will overwrite the output instructions for what? ch.cpp with the name.cpp. So when I do a.out, it's going to give me the results for what? Name.cpp. So that a.out is a common file that's going to be overwritten every time you successfully compile a C++ file. Everybody got that? Okay. All right. So now, so this will give you your listing and it'll show you your permissions. Now, okay, here, okay, on each line, the first character, which we talked about just now, the first character identifies the type of entry that is being listed. If it's a dash, we know this is a file. If it's a letter, we know that it's a directory or a folder. You know, folder directory is one and the same. Windows use folders, Linux use directories. Now, The next 9 characters, that's what we're going to be concerned with in this lecture. The first 3, all right, the next 9 characters represent the settings for the 3 sets of permissions. The first 3 characters show the permission for the user who actually owns the file, okay? Which is the user permission. The middle 3 characters show the permission for members of the file's group, all right, which is group permissions, all right? And you're gonna have to understand you're gonna be representing users, G gonna represent a group, and the O gonna represent others when we start putting in our commands to manipulate our file permissions, all right? And then so the last 3 characters show the permissions for any one not in the first 2 categories, which would be considered other permissions, all right? All right, so now, okay, there are 3 characters in each set, which we know. The 3 characters are indicated are indicators for the present or absence of one of the permissions. Now, okay, there's either a dash or a letter. All right, we know that in the first. Well, even in the 3, you're going to either have a dash or a letter in one of these 3 columns. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That's for the user. You're going to either have a dash or a letter. Okay, but what letter will it be? It will be either a R for read permissions, a W for write permissions, or an X for execution permissions, or to execute. All right. So you got to be aware of that. All right. So those are the different permissions that are given to users. If you see 3 dashes, that means that for that particular file or either folder, there's no permissions for that particular group or user or the other, all right, or others, all right? So RWX means full permission has been granted to whomever, whether it's the user, whether it's for the groups or whether it's for others, all right? The read, write, and execute indicates all are present, and we'll look at that too. Now, so, looking at this picture, looking at the picture below, oh, this spelled wrong. This should say first. The first line starts with a D. I mean, the first character starts with a D. All right. So now I need to modify that. The first character here, it starts with a D that's the third line. Oh, the third THIR. That should have been a D. The third line starts with a D. All right. So this line refers to a directory called what? What's the directory name?
Files.
All right, so we see that's our folder. That's our directory called files. The owner of the directory is user. You see what I'm saying? And then now this is Calco. I mean CoCal. So like I say, you'll see something, they created theirs to be this way and it's virtual. So this is why I have user rather than maybe my name or something like that in a group of maybe class or whatever. All right. But still, this is the actual owner and this is the group. All right. That's the column for owner and that's the column for the group. All right. Now, and the name of the group of that the directory belongs to is called also user. All right. So looking at that, we can see and that pretty much came from the same listing here. I just cropped it smaller to focus on the column here and the D here. Now, the next 3 characters are the user permissions. Everything shaded in this blue here. So for every file that's listed here, these are, if the owner, whoever owns that's their permissions. So they can read and execute a text file. They can read and execute excuse me, class. I'm saying execute. They can read and write the calendar.txt file. They can read and write the ch.cpp. They can read, write, and execute the file folder. They can read and write the header file.h, and they can read and write to the myclass.turn. Okay, That's their permissions for this listing that you can see. All right. So that's all that means. They have and that can be changed. Being that you own these, you could put rewrite execute on them. All right. If you wanted to. All right. Now, so like I said, it says it tells you about the read, write, execute characters are present. Okay, this means and that should be Dave, it should be user has read, read, write, and execute permissions for that directory. Now, looking at this one, now we're dealing with the second set of, which is in threes, the permissions for the group, which is in blue. And then the final set or the next set is in like light, like a hazy red. All right. So you have the second set of 3 characters on the directory line or the group permissions. These are read and, well, you say read and execute. All right. So it shows that the member of the user group has read and execute permissions on this directory. This means that they can list the files and their content in the directory, and they can CD, all right, which is execute, into that directory. All right. Now, they do not have write permissions, so they cannot either create, edit, or either delete anything. All right. So they can go and look at what's there, do a listing of what's there, but they cannot do any kind of writing into that folder. All right. Okay. All right. So now the final set of 3 characters are also read and execute for that folder. All right. These permissions apply to people who do not or are not governed by the first 2 set of permissions. That could be anybody else on the system or whatnot. These people are called others. Okay. And they have read and execute permissions on this directory, same as the group. All right. But you can remove that if you desire. Like say if you have a in-class assignment and you only wanted the group to be able to communicate and nobody outside of them to have access, you can still talk outside of that, but for them to actually be on the system and get into the folder and do whatever, you can remove that. So anybody outside of that group, they won't be able to come in and see anything, read anything, execute anything, or even CD into the folder. All right. Now, so it tells us to understand or understanding the permission syntax. All right. It's 2 ways to do it. And what I did, I showed you the 2 ways. The first way is a new and improved way, which is, I would say, more simplified. The other way was a way where you dealt with the bits of a 3 position binary number. But we'll look at that. It's toward the end. So now, to use the change mod to set permissions, we need to tell it who gonna have the permission, all right? Or who is setting the permission is set for. Now, what changes are we making, all right? Whether we adding or removing, a permission, because with the new way, we can either add a permission, and what it is, you don't put the equal sign. And if you already have a certain permission there, it'll just add that permission. But if you want to rewrite all the permissions and say you have read and execute, but you only want write, then you would say give the group that group name or user group or other and put equals whatever, and that'll wipe away everything else and put whatever you're given. But we'll see that. All right. And which permission you are setting. Okay. We use indicators to represent these values and form short permission statements. Okay. Such as U, which is the user, plus X. So if the user have read and write permissions, and you do something like change my U plus X and then give the file or whatever, then it'll add to the read and execute read and write the execute permission. It won't overwrite the other one. All right. And it says where U means user. All right. All right. All right. Who? The plus means add, okay, which is the what, and the X means execute permission, which is the which. Okay, so that's the three questions we have to answer. Clear that. All right. So now the who value can be that we can use is what? User, group, others, but then we can just say what? Rather than use user group and other, we can say for all of them, rather than try to pinpoint each one. So you got a shortcut if you wanted to give them all a particular, say, if you wanted to give everybody just read access, you could say change mod A and then equals and then R and then the name of the file, and it'll change that for all for user group and other. So you don't have to put user, whatever, user group, other, and then the equals R. All right. So now, if none of these are used, change mod behaves as if A has been used. All right. So that means if you don't, by default, if you don't use any one of these, it'll default to all. All right. So what value, okay, we can use are the plus and the minus sign. All right. So we can remove a permission, okay, or we can add a permission. All right. Or what we can do, remove other permissions to assign only whatever permissions we are given. So if we have certain permissions, so like say we had read, write, and execute permissions on a user file, we could say user change mod user minus R and then the name. It'll keep the write and execute, but it'll remove the read. Okay, and the same thing here. Just by using the plus, it will add. All right, it won't change the status of what it is already. It'll just add to it. But if I use the equal, then what it does, it wipes away everything in that user permission, and now I'm telling it this is what I want it to equal to. Okay, so and now the which value can be, which we talked about it already, is read, write, or execute. So now let's look here because we're gonna do a little class exercise, and then I'm gonna go over the assignment. So I want you to kind of understand what's going on here. Setting and modifying permissions. So look, let's say we have a file where everyone has full permission. Now, what that means if we have a file where everyone has full permission, what does that mean?
They have read, write, and execute.
Correct. Everybody that for that file, everybody has read, write, and execute. So what I'm gonna do? Let me see something. Can I'm gonna try to resize the screen where I want to go back. Hopefully you can see it. Still see. I did this here. All right. Just supposed to move with it. Okay. Because it shouldn't. All right. So let's see. I'll start this. So let's see. So now, I need to click this. I need to move this over. All right. So now, if I go down here and I'll clear, all right. So it says it has all permissions. Let's take a file. Let's do I'm gonna do cat ch.cpp. I don't know what's in it. Okay. So we'll take this file, whatever is in this file. So ch.cpp. I'll do ls minus l ch.cpp. So I want to give it all the permissions. So I could say change mod user. I think I could do user group user and then I could say equals read, write, execute, and do ch.cpp. Come on. All right. Then now when I do a ls, no, yeah, see, look here. Now what? The user has what? Read, write, execute. Group has what? Read, write, execute. Let me see if I can make it a little larger. Oh, no, I can't. What did it do? I was trying to increase the size. All right. So if we look at it, and it doesn't brought all this up. User has read, write, execute. Group has read, write, execute, and others has read, write, execute. By me using what? Change mod, user, group, other equals. So when I use the equal, I'm wiping away whatever it had prior to, and now I'm setting every one of them to what? Read, write, execute for this file. Okay. So it says, okay, if everyone had that, if you wanted the user to have read and write permissions, okay, I can't see what the rest of the part is, so I'll click and reduce it a little bit. Okay. All right. So if you want the user to have read and write permissions and the group and others to have read permissions only, notice what they say. I could say what? Change my user equal read write RW, comma, others, it got ONG, which is others and group, equals R. So what that's going to do, that's going to allow the user to have only read and execute, and others and group and others will only have read for what? Name.txt. So what I can do here, I could type that command. I'll do, let me type the command. I'll say change mod, and I'll say user equals, and what? Read write, comma, and group and others is equal to read for the ch.cpp. Hit enter. And now when I do a ls minus l on ch, look at my permissions. User have what? Read and execute. The group only have read access. Others only have read access. So everybody see what's happening and see how it is done. All right. Now, what I'll do, I'll show you what I mean. Let's use this same file, ch.cpp. So I'll maximize this, and I'll do a change mod 000. I'll tell you, this is the one with the bit, ch.cpp. All right. So now when I do a ls minus lch this, what type of permissions it have? User has what? None. Group has what? None. Others have what? None. So when I do a vi ch.cpp, all right, look what it says in the bottom. Everybody see that? Because I don't have read permissions, I'm denied. Okay? The file is there, but it's just that I'm denied access to my own file because what? I have ownership. I put that restriction on that file. All right. So I can do a shift : quit, and then I'll say, okay, change mod user equals R. All right. And then ch.cpp. So now the user will have read permissions. And if I do the ls minus l, oh, well, I pulled it up before I did it. Let me quit. So, all right. So if I do the ls minus l, so you can see the permission change. Now what? The user has read permissions. So now I can actually look at the file. All right. All right. So I'll open it. So see, now I can open it, but what? I can only what? View the file. I cannot what? Save it with that same name. Everybody understand that? Because I only have read permissions, okay? But I can do this, write, quit, and I think I could give it a name, or I could do a write, and I can give it a name. I'll say ch.cpp. So see how I can create a new file, but I can't save it in the same name, all right? So now when I quit, I can do cat ch.cpp, and look, it's the same file contents as the previous files. All right. So now, if I wanted to, all right, I can give myself write access by just saying change mod, and then I'll say user. Now, I will not, if I say equal, what happens, class, if I say equals write and then ch.cpp? What happens at this point? Would this be correct to do if I want to be able to open it to do anything?
No, because if you just have write, what are you going to write, and how are you going to know what?
I'm gonna read it, right? You
Yeah.
understand? So what I'm doing, I'm gonna overwrite. If I use this equal, it's gonna overwrite everything. It's gonna say I'm gonna wipe this out, and I'm gonna only give write permissions. So what we want to give, we want to use a plus. Now, when we say the plus, it's saying, okay, for user, add what? Write permissions to what I already have. Everybody understand that? So now I'm just adding a permission to what I already have. So when I do it this way, now when I do the ls, see, it added the right permission. You got me? But if I would have used the equal, it would have just given me the right permission. You see what I'm saying? Which I don't need, right? All right. So I could go back here. It's running a little slow. All right, so I could do this equals R and W. All right, and now, okay, now it has what I really was intended it for. All right, so everybody kind of understand what is happening. So now, let's look at this. Oh, what I do? All right. So like I said, when you use the equal sign, you're trying to overwrite what's existing and say, I want to give them only read and write. Okay, for using a group and other, I want to remove whatever's there and only give them read access. All right. So, and then like I said, if you do the listing, you can see what the effects are. All right. So now here, adding the permissions. All right, we did that. Okay, with an A. When we use the letter A, all right, well, let's read through this, okay, because this is where your assignment going to somewhat come from. And when I say come from, not really come from, but this is what you're going to have to understand in order to do your assignment. It says adding permissions without removing existing permissions setting. If you have a script file, which you're going to be creating, that we have finished editing, okay, we need to make it executable for all users, all right, even yourself. Its current permissions look somewhat like this. Well, like I say, what I'd have to do, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna create something, all right? So you're gonna create a file. I'll say VI, and I'll just say, and it could be, but I'll say in class .sh, all right? So I create this. Now, class, the command to display something in Windows batch files and in Linux with your shell files is echo. All right. So what I could do, I could say echo. Oh, I did. Okay, echo. All right. Echo here gonna just echo a blank line. Okay. Then if I say echo, and then I'll put I put that. So then I'll hit escape. All right. I'll hit escape and then shift ZZ. So now I have inclass.sh. Let's do a ls minus L on this. All right. All right. What happened? Okay, not what happened. What did I do? I didn't put a space. So I didn't put a space between the ls. All right. So look here. I have read write permissions, but I don't have what? Execute permissions, right? But I have read permission for group and read permission for others. All right. So let's go back to the assignment. We've created this and let's try to execute it. To execute it, just like we execute the A dot out, all we do is dot slash and whatever the name is in class dot sh. All right. Hit enter. What it tells me.
Got no permission.
Correct. No permissions. Let's get back to the assignment. I mean, not the assignment. To this page here. So now, so what happens is we can add that execute permission for everybody, you know, to actually be able to execute that script. Or you could just add it what? For yourself by putting what? A U, correct? But in here it says, okay, to give it to everyone, we'll just put A plus X. And that means what? User will have execute permissions, you group will have execute permissions, and others. All right. And then from there, I should be able to what? Execute that file, correct? So, and then here the same thing is just giving you a new script. Okay, we have achieved the same thing with without the A, okay, in the A plus statement by just using the plus. So you don't have to use the A because what we said by default, it will automatically say, okay, it's the A. But you can put the A if you're comfortable to say, okay, it's all. All right. So now let me show you what happens to this result. Okay. So when I do, I done change my permission, or did I? Let's say something. I don't want to be, I want to LS. I LS it. No, that's the one without the space. All right. All right. So now I need to add my permission. How would I add my permissions to inclass.sh? Well, give me a command.
chmod, ROG, or who you're trying to give it to?
For you, that's the user. You.
U, letter U equals, and you want what commands?
I want to execute. Well, right now I want to add. I can't open it. Well, I can open it at this time. I got read.
Right.
I can modify it.
Right.
So I want to be able to execute it.
Equals sign X.
Now, if I do equal, what it's going to do, class?
Override.
It's going to overwrite the read and right. So what happens if my program execute wrong or give me an error? So now I need to go back. I'd have to go back and change my permissions, right?
Yeah, it's
so
plus
I should keep it. So I could put what? Plus, right? Just put a plus X, and all it's going to do is add execute to the user, right? For inclass.sh. So now what happens if I do a ls minus L? Now I have what? Read, write, and execute. Now when I do the dot slash and I do inclass.sh, look what happened. Blank line, what?
Next program.
All right. So you understand. Everybody got that.
Yep.
Everybody saw what happened. Now some of y'all gonna be man, Investor, I don't know what happened. I tried this and I put this in and I don't know, it's frustrated me, which it can be frustrating. Don't get me wrong. Like I say, because you're dealing with doing things sometimes in order, or like I say, you missed the plus, or you rather than put the plus, you put a minus. Rather than put the U, you put the G, and all these little things you got to know what they mean because it can cause havoc. Okay. All right. So setting the permissions for multiple files. So we know how to do it for what? A single file. But just like when we did the ls *.cpp, all of a sudden now, rather than me having to change the, if I had 100 different files that I need to change the permission to remove a write permission from, I could do change mod, but this is for the others. I could do O and then minus R, and then I could do *.cpp. So every .cpp file in my folder, okay? For others, I'm gonna remove the read permission, okay? So that's what this will do, okay? So to remove the right, right. That should be read. That's not right. To remove the read permission from others, see, I got right here. That's supposed to be read class. All right, because otherwise I'd have what? A W here, correct? So, so to remove, given this command, the read permission from others, other users, from files that have a CPP extension, we can do this with the following command: change mod O for others -R, and what the minus does, if they have execute permissions, it's not messing with it. If they have write permissions, it's not messing with it. It's just removing the read permission, right? And then from all the CPP files, all right? So let's look at that. If we do this, and I'll do ls-l *.cpp. Okay, all my CPP for group, for the group part, and other than my CH, they have write. So watch, if I do change mod others, and I'll do equal, okay, R write execute, and I'll do *.cpp. So all of a sudden, what I'm telling the system that all of my CPP files will have read write execute for others. Okay, so when I hit enter, and then now I do my listing. Oh, it's taking this time. All right, so see what happens? Others, the last three columns, read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute for others. All right. So if I wanted to remove it, okay, all I have to do is say what? Minus, right? Read, write, execute, hit enter. And now they don't have any permissions. All right. So again, if I want to add the read permission like the book had, I can do a +R. And now I'm giving everybody in others for all CPP files read access. All right, read permissions. And so when I do the ls-l, they have their permissions back. All right. And now what I can do, like I say, I could give it, say I'm gonna do the CH file. I could do ch mod, and then I could say user group others and equals, for everybody, and I could say equals RW execute, all right? And I'll do ch.cpp, all right? So now I've just given this file read, write, execute for everybody, okay? So that's how that works. So let's look at the in-class assignment too. Let's see here. Now, notice here, again, we're looking at this -R again. Look at this capital R. This option is used so that it can go, okay, I'm did it in one folder, my current folder, but if I use the -R, it's gonna go to all of the subdirectories, all of the sub-level folders and change it. So you don't have to CD into this folder, do whatever. CD into that folder, do the change mod, whatever. CD, you do the -R, it's gonna look at your directory tree and change every file with the .cpp. You're gonna give ownership or remove the read ownership from others. All right. Okay. Now, the numerical permissions. If you when you took 192, we did our binary conversions. All right. Remember where we did our binary numbers with sets of three digits, which we're doing really with the permissions 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 0, 0, 0 means you're not giving any permissions. And look here, anywhere there's a 1, that's putting that permission in that place. So if I do change mod 001 ch.cpp, I'm giving execute permission to what? So that's read, write, execute. This is read, write. This is read, write, execute. This is read and no write and execute. This is read, no write, but execute. This is read and write, no execute. This is read, write, and execute. So you can use this also. So if I go back to here, so say like for ch.cpp, if I only want everybody to have read and execute, that's all I want them to have, not write. I'd have to do what? Change mod, and then what's a digit in the first position and a digit in the last position, but a 0 in the middle? That's what? 5, right? So change mod 555. The first one gonna get 101. This one gonna get what is that? CHWP 101 101 101. All right, and I'll do ch.cpp. Hit enter, and then we do this. And look, where's that? See, 101 on off on. So you see, you can do it either way. If I wanted them all on, remember I showed you 7 is all ones, right? So if I do change mod 777, that means 111 for the first 7, 111 for the next 7, and 111 for this 7 here. So what? Where's that? To ch.cpp, that'll be 111, 111, 111. Read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. So when I hit enter and I'll look at it, see, everybody have read, write, execute. If I only want to give everybody execute permissions, then I would do change mod, if I could, right? Mod 111 and ch.cpp. So all of a sudden now it would be what? When they go here, 1 would be what? 001. So that would be no read, no write, but execute. No read, no write, but execute. No read, no write, but execute. So I hit enter, and then we look at it. See, they only have execute permissions. All right. So see how you can manipulate it. Now, any questions? Questions? So this is what I want you to do. I think I'm on the nope. Well, like I say, this is basically what we just did. The 7111 and the 1001. All right. So this is similar to what I just showed you. Now, and this was the example. Change mod 664. 6 is what? 4 and 2. So it's like 110. All right. This 6, 110. 4 is 100. So that's what would happen. The user would have you read, write, no execute. The group would have read, write, no execute. But the others would have read only, right? No execute and no write or execute for all files that end in .page. All right. So in-class assignment. Let's see if we can do this right quick. If you can go to your CoCal terminal, all right? Go to your CoCal terminal, and what I want you to do is modify the permissions for the user to read and execute. All right. Well, let's see. For the user to read and execute, and the group to execute for all CPP files. Well, I'll do one. I said on a CPP file. So pull up your CoCal terminal, and I want you to choose a CPP file. Do a ls -l so you can see what its permissions is. Then I want you to modify the permissions so that the user will have read and execute, and the group would have execute. Don't modify the user, okay? Don't modify the user. Did everybody get it?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm gonna just I'm gonna list one of my files. I'll just list a file. Okay, so that's what my file showed. So when you look at that file listing, all I want to see is the user to have read and execute permissions and the group to have execute permissions. All right. The others don't worry about it. Don't worry about others. And like I said, you can either use the numbers or you could use the plus and the and minus. Not the plus and minus though, but the format equal plus or minus.
The group to have read permissions, you said?
Right. Well, yeah. Execute. I want the group to have execute. Yeah. So user, I want them to have read and execute, and the group to have execute. All right.
All right.
Not easy like it seems, even though it's easy, but when you do it, you got to try to figure it out. Yeah, who was that? Who had a question?
Mr. Sylvester, is the terminal supposed to be Linux/Unix?
It don't matter what terminal, as long as you have files in that folder, a CPP file in that folder.
Right.
You understand? Because remember when you did your homework, you should have created or either had a terminal already created. What that name is whatever you created. Because remember on mine, I created mine called my class. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
When we started. So it's whatever you named it to be. Now you could create a new terminal, but what you're going to have to do is do a VI and create a file.cpp. Look at the permissions and then modify it, and then look at the permissions again. If you create a new terminal. But normally that terminal should be within that folder. If you create a new project, yeah, you'd have to create it. But if you create a terminal in that project, you still should have all your files. Anybody got it?
Having issues getting the site pulled up.
Oh, that CoCal?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm having the same issues too.
Oh, okay. So what I'll do the first one. So looking at my permissions, if I use the plus minus equal, I could say change mod, and then I'll say what? User, and I'll do equal, and what I want, read, and what? Execute. Okay. Then comma, and then group equals execute. And that's it. And that should give it to me. Or I could have done, well, I'd have to know what the last, well, see, I'm looking at, if I look at my listing here, I know that my group, well, really this is what, 644, right? So I would have to change this to what? 4 and 1, which is 5. And then with this one, just execute would be 1, so that would be 514. All right. So I could do change mod 514, or I could do it this way: change mod U equal RX, comma G equals X. All right. and then and I'll give the file name.cpp. Then when I look at it, oh no, look, here we go. User have read execute. Group has no read, no write, has execute, but then the user other, I never changed it. It just stayed the same. All right. Now the thing is, let's change it to what it was. This is 644. I said right. So if I do a change mod, 644, and then now I've changed it back to what it was. All right, to the very beginning. So if I want to do the read execute, I do change mod, and I'll do a 6. Is it 6? Is it no 5? And 1 4, because 1 is execute, read write execute, and then right, and then I'll do name.cpp. That should give me the same result. So see what I'm saying? If you look at this here, when I did the equal, I got this result. Okay, I changed it back to this, but then when I use the 514, I got the same results here as I got here. All right. So you see, either one you use should work. And like I said, this would normally probably be programmer's preference, whichever one you feel comfortable using. All right. So let's look at the second one. Modify the user, group, and other permissions to no access. So what would I do there? How could I do that? Somebody give me that command.
Change mod 000.
Correct. Name.cpp. Correct. All right. So I could do that and then hit enter. And then when I list it, nothing. But now let me go back and change it to this. All right. So now I change it back. Now give me the other one. If I do change mod and I use group user group other, what would I put here? I could do equal, or well, not equal, minus, right?
Right.
Read, write, execute, and then what? Name.cpp. Hit enter. So see, two different ways of doing things, but they both accomplish the same goal, right? Same exact goal. All right. And then the last one, modify the user, group, and others to write and execute. So write and execute, that would be what? Not the first one, second, third one. So that's what? 3, 3, 3, right? So I could do what? Change mod here. And if I use this one, 3, 3, 3, hit enter. See? Write, execute, write, execute, write, execute. All right. So if I change it back, all right. All right. Now I could do what? Change mod, and then I could say user group other, right? Equals, if I type, equals write and execute. And then I got to give the name.cpp. All right. And then when I list it, see, write, execute, write, execute. So the same thing, same results, different way of doing it. All right. Any questions? Anybody got any questions on it? Any questions? All right.
Can you post this?
How?
Can you post this in the on Canvas?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll post it because I think I just posted the last lecture. But what I'll do, I'll post this one in Canvas. Now, your assignment. Now, this is in Canvas. All right, this is in Canvas. The exact same thing, but I got it just in here. Okay, file permission assignment using the VI editor. All right, in your CoCal terminal. Now, you obviously when you do the second part, you're gonna do it in your Ubuntu terminal. So create a file. All right, a bash file, name, okay, name, first name, your first initial, comma, last a name, dot sh, okay? Capitalizing the first letter of your first name and last name. Example, a person named John Doe would create a file named capital J, capital D, EO dot sh. Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Make sure you
Yep.
do that, Clint. Huh?
Nothing.
Question? All right. Now, it says this file should output 2 blank lines. All right. Everybody understand that? 2 blank lines. Your first, then on the next line, your first and last name. Then on the next line, Linux/Unix system program. Then on the next line, CSCI 2153. Then on the next line, David L. Sylvester Sr. Then on the next line, 10/14/2020. And then 2 more blank lines. Everybody understand that? I don't want name, whatever, course name, whatever. All I need is this information. Everybody got that?
Yep.
All right. Then it says execute the file. All right. And if it was John Doe .sh, it would be /jdoe.sh. All right. That's how you would execute it. Then screenshot your output, but I want you to execute it. I want the results. Just like I got the results, I want you to give me the results. All right. And then when you get the results on the screen, screenshot it. I want to see the commands. Some of you try to, like I said, I don't know what you're doing, but you cut off the commands, or, like I say, try to type something or whatever. But I want to see the command. That's why I'm asking you to do the screenshot. Just for you to turn in something that says, okay, I put it in a text file. Here it is. No, anybody could type up a text file and give it to you. Or another thing, anybody can create a copy of it in their shell, and then give it to somebody else to submit it as theirs. So when you screenshot your desktop, you're not just screenshotting your output in a sense. You screenshot the machine you're on, your login name that you use, the terminal name that you have. So all those things. So if I see 2 people with the exact same terminal name, exact same desktop, whatever, then I know they y'all just copying assignments to one another. Everybody understand where I'm coming from?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now it says now do the assignment on your Linux VirtualBox loaded on your PC and submit a snapshot of your PC's desktop to Canvas. Now, like I said, the thing is, many people may have turned in their assignment, their desktop assignments for the VirtualBox. But if you come into me telling me, well, Mr. Sylvester, I never was able to do the VirtualBox, whatever, but you turned in an assignment, I'm wondering what? Did you cheat? Did you copy? Did you whatever? Everybody understand that? Because if you created your VirtualBox and you turned in the assignment, then you shouldn't have any issues at least getting into it to do the assignment. You might have issues working on it, but you shouldn't have the, well, Mr. Sylvester, I don't have the VirtualBox, I don't have whatever, but you turned in the assignment, So here is an example of how the output should look. And like I said, look at this command. I have my $ prompt and I have my command that gave me this result. I'm not going to just give you, you could try it, just give me this result, but I'm going to take off because I don't see the what? The actual command. You could have just typed this in and screenshotted this and tried to give it to me. All right. So I want to see the command, all right, that was used, the output, and then the return back to the terminal $ prompt. Everybody got that? Question. So blank line, blank line, blank line. Your name, the course, the number, my name, and the date, the due date. Okay.
Are we taking a screenshot of the in-class assignment too?
No.
Okay.
But I just wanted you to kind of get the feel, so you know you can have a inkling of what, because you're gonna write when you. Well, I'm gonna give you a hint. When you create that file and execute it, you're gonna get an alarm, or you're gonna get a violation, a prompt, and you're gonna need to know how to fix it. All right. Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll see y'all on next class period. All right.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right. And I'll post this as soon as it come through. I might need to everybody. How y'all getting to the post? Through the web link? Cause see, I created a YouTube channel for this, and I forgot the login name, so I can't even get to it. So I'm gonna have to try to find something, or either take them, because I could download them, and put them somewhere else, and then.
You're talking about the PowerPoint?
No, not the PowerPoint. The
Zoom video.
Video,
recording?
right?
Oh, I didn't know
Right.
you were doing that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The class recordings?
Right. Now I think some of the teachers said you can go to Zoom and look at the recording.
Yeah, because when I press Zoom, right next to ongoing or reoccurring or whatever, there's recorded, and I just click on that.
Okay. Yeah, so
And then
you
do
could
that.
go to that. I'm gonna still try to post them
Oh, yeah.
because it makes
Previous
it more
meetings, I mean.
manageable. Right. All the others, that I posted, they should be there. Right.
I think it gives you the option to download them too. Oh nope,
Right.
they're not there anymore. What in the world? Oh wait, my thing logged me out. Never mind.
Yeah, they should be there. Now, the only thing the issue that I have, like I told them in a meeting that I had, what happens when you click download, it takes you briefly to a screen that has the password, but then it takes you to a window that says, okay, enter the access code. But the access code is in the previous screen. So you got to close out the pop-up screen and then go back to the download screen where now they have the password just there, which is going to be hidden, but it's there. You copy it, then click download, and then you can put in the access code. So it's kind of like a little trickery. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to it, come back out, and go to it again.
My thing automatically that automatically copies it the moment I press the video.
Oh, it'll copy it to your computer?
Yeah, it just automatically copies and I go straight there.
Oh yeah, mine don't copy. I got to click on it to download it, and like I said, it takes me to that screen briefly. Then it takes me to a window. Then it say put in access code, but you didn't have time to copy the access code, so you go back and then click copy the access code, click download, and then add the code. I don't know. It might be something with my system too. Yeah. But anybody with any questions?
So far, no.
Okay. Now, assignment is not hard. It's not that long, but at the same time, you got to keep it while it's fresh on your mind. You might want to tackle it. I'll get as much as you can done now, and maybe tomorrow a little bit more. But if you put it aside, then you got to go back and look at them permissions and whatever. And it's like, man, wow, what is this? Why? What is this? Why? So them numbers look Greek. But if you know, like I say, coding and not even coding, there's a little bit about Linux. That's a command. Okay, this is the parameters. Okay, this is a file name. So you kind of understand what's going on and whatnot. All right. So, and then, like I say, be careful. They said that another storm, hurricane, it might come.
Yeah, my grandmother just warned me about it's supposed to hit. Well, as far as they're checking now, Friday evening. Yeah,
I know. I tell you, like I say, we missed those other two, and like I say, somebody gonna get it. But like I say, we've been blessed so far. Like I say, just hopefully it won't be so bad. I tell you.
Still prepare for it.
Yeah, I would say be safe, be prepared. Like I say, gas your cars up. Like I say, have your candles, your whatever, your flashlights and generators or whatever it is you got. Enough food and stuff so that you be prepared. Yeah. All right then, do my work.
All righty.
All right then, see y'all.
All right,
See you later.
later.
All right.